let's start with the mood around the team this year compared to 12 months ago. You seem to be in about as good a shape as you could possibly be. Not knowing about Morgan Barron, but how do you view things compared to 12 months ago?
Again, I mentioned it the other day. I think we're in far better shape mentally and in our team game than we were last year. It was a scramble to get in the playoffs, and it was a scramble in the playoffs. So it helped that we got in, clinched that spot a couple weeks ago. But all year long, our team has been committed, more committed to that team game day in and day out. And when things didn't go our way, which happened, we had a couple of losing streaks, which is going to happen to everybody. They worked hard to fight their way out of it. So right now, the team mentally is in a really good shape. We're confident in our team game. We're much. It's two totally different teams right now than last year to this year.
What would be the one or two things at the top of the list that matter the most with the home ice advantage you earned?
Matchups are going to be very, very important, clearly. And listen, we have nothing but respect for them and their elite players, and they're a great hockey club over there, and they've won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. So we know what we're up against. So, but the other thing for me is not to give them too much respect. Let's go out there and play our game and stay aggressive and stay with our pressure game and not wait for things to happen. That's so we respect them, but again, we can't get into that giving them too much respect, even though it's the playoffs. We have to play our game and stay aggressive, keep our pressure game on top of them, and try to frustrate them as much as we can.
When you look at the Western Conference as a whole, there's no gimmies, there's no easy matchup. There's going to be four really disappointed and very good hockey teams that don't get out of this first round, right? Do you remember it like this?
Yeah, there's going to be 8 teams. Like there's a lot of good teams out east as well, but that first round is always the toughest, and we know it's going to be a tough first round with the Avs. And even though we got a home ice advantage, you've got to take advantage of it. But there's going to be 4 very, very excellent hockey teams, had great years, are going home early. We have to make sure that we do everything that in our power to make sure that's not us. But as I told the players this morning, no one knows the outcome of the game or of the series, but whatever it is, make sure we can live with ourselves, that we left everything we could on the ice, and that's the most important thing. If you play your best and you give your best and you end up losing the series, well, it's a lot easier to live with yourself than when you walk away and you know what, we didn't, so that's the most important thing for us.
Obviously, there's a lot of big stars on both teams, but traditionally in playoffs, that's where third liners, fourth liners, role players, depth players, they really start to shine, right? Expecting that in this series, maybe some guys who aren't getting talked about a lot to play big roles?
Yeah, Adam's line's going to play a huge role, and he scored a couple of goals in Colorado. But it's usually the guys like that, the grinders, the hard workers, they're going to go get the greasy goals because the pretty goals aren't going to be there. It's the intensity is there. There's not a lot of room, not a lot of space to make plays, so you got to be willing to get your nose dirty and get in there and you get some greasy goals, and that's usually where your third and fourth line guys come in. So, yeah.
Rick, John.
Rick, I know that one of the things that you set out to do this season was to try to, quote-unquote, make life easier on Connor Hellebuyck. Well, both your goalies. But can you just assess how much better your club got at it, especially in the high-danger areas, at making life easier for the guys between the pipes?
Yeah, I think the end result shows that we did, for the most part, do that. We had some lapses like every other team does, but for the most part, we're very happy with the way our team game played without the puck and limit those grade A's and guys coming right down in the middle of the ice with grade A opportunities. So for the most part, we did that, and that's a commitment from the players, and give the players a lot of credit for that, because we did have to flip that switch from a run and gun team to a team that can play defense first and get offense from that. So you give the players a lot of credit for that.
That state of your defensive structure going into the playoffs, or is there still a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done with it?
There's always tweaking, right? You can never be satisfied. Comfort and pro sports, then they don't go hand in hand. So we're always tweaking things. We're always trying to stay on top of things and trying to stay one step ahead. You see little things creeping in, you try to address it as quickly as you can so they don't become bigger things. But yeah, we're always tweaking. We're always pushing.
Is there a couple concerns with, like when you scout Colorado? I mean, you're not going to give me everything, but what are your concerns, I guess, with their strengths, maybe, is a better way to ask it?
They're elite players. McKinnon, McCarr, or Anton. Like, they've got some great players over there, and they've won a championship. They've been there. So I know we've got a couple of guys in the room, they'll be in top who've won Stanley Cups, but the other guys haven't. So they have a little bit of advantage with that they have won a cup and they know what it takes to get there. And we're going to keep pushing here, and we're going to kind of learn as we go along, I guess.
How important do you see special teams in this series being?
They're always important, right? They've got a great power play, so our discipline away from the puck is going to be huge, and even with the puck is going to be huge. And game management, puck management, special teams, it always comes down to that. And it always comes down to will and compete as well. You can talk X and O's all you want, but when it gets into the playoffs, it comes down to will and compete just as much.
On that theme, Rick, with respect to special teams, is it false or true in your experience that it's kind of like a reset for the officiating, and maybe in the first round there are a few more power plays than what you might expect deeper into the playoffs?
Well, again, it's the intensity of that first round from everybody. Everyone's excited to get the playoffs going, and it's been a long season for 16 teams, and now we're going to keep pushing. But so the intensity ramps up in the playoffs, and sometimes, there's a few more penalties called as the playoffs go along. It tampers down a little bit, but for the most part, that first series, man, it's war, and it is. And usually when that happens, and you want your players playing hard, you want them playing with passion, you can push discipline all you want, and that's going to be a big factor in it. But you get into that first round, man, your passion is up, your intensity is up, and sometimes you take a few penalties you don't wish you took.
Rick, what's the latest on Morgan Barron? Do you expect him to be available on Sunday?
No. We're going to skate tomorrow, but he won't play Sunday.
Have you decided who will be on in that spot on the fourth line?
Good luck.
That means Kenny's in?
How will you make that determination?
It's been made. No, it depends on rules and where we got to look at we see their lineup. We'll look at our lineup again. So yeah.
Just get your thought on hockey leaving Arizona here. The only guy I think in this room that was there for an extended period of time. What's it like to see that end?
It's sad. We spent 7 years there. My daughter went all through high school there and University of Arizona for 4 years. So we have a special place in our heart for Phoenix, and it is sad. But when we were there, listen, we started downtown in the arena that was built to keep hockey out, right? And then we ended up going to Glendale, and everyone complained that, okay, why are we out in Glendale? Well, there was reasons why we ended up in Glendale. Scottsdale wanted no part of the team at that point, so we ended up in Glendale, and everyone complained about the drive and everything. It was a beautiful rink, but it was a long ways away from where the money was in Scottsdale. It is very sad. 7 years, I hate to see it go, and I see guys like Stan Wilson, their trainer, who started here with the Jets and has been there from day one and been through multiple coaches and GMs and ownerships and turmoil, and you see him with tears last night. It hits home. Sorry.
In 27 years, you look back at it all, it wasn't handled very well, was it?
No, it never. Yeah, I know it never. It never really took off, and I think they never had stable ownership, and GMs kept coming and coaches kept coming. It never did really get stable there, and that's kind of sad as well.
Owners too, right? I mean,
Yep, we went through a few owners.
did it feel unstable at the time when you were there?
Pardon me?
Did it feel unstable at the time?
It always did. Yeah, it always did, because when we were there and we weren't getting good crowds, and we knew the team was losing money. And you knew the current ownership wasn't going to stay in there for that long unless it turned around, and it never did turn around. So you knew there was another group coming right in behind them. So, yeah, that was a little frustrating, but it never did feel, okay, this is going to be here, this is going to work. It never felt like that for me.
I understand you played way back in Salt Lake too.
Yeah, I played in Salt Lake. Good memory. That's a long, So, I played there in 79-80, and we won a championship. It was a beautiful city. We had a great team, so we had a great fan base, and my wife loved it because we didn't have any kids there, and she was skiing every day. So I said, "Where are you going today?" Yeah, Park City or wherever. No, we loved it there, and it's a great hockey market, and I'm really happy that they've got a franchise.
Quickly about the goaltending. Are you planning on having Collin Delia be your third goaltender up for the playoffs?